the venue for the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. We're on the central coast of Australia, about an hour north of Sydney, a beautiful area, sun, surf. But today, we are here for the curling. Hans Franlob here. I'm joined by Sander Rolevag, World Mixed Curling Champion from Norway. Good afternoon to you, Sander.
Good afternoon, Hans.
Our feature match today should be a beauty, a battle of the unbeatens. It is China taking on Japan. So let's meet the teams. But before that, we'll take a quick look at the standings. We see that the host nation, Australia, is unbeaten at 3-0. Japan, Korea, and China have also not lost a game yet. Chinese Taipei are at 1-2. 9 member associations competing here this week. So on the second page of the leaderboard, we have Hong Kong, Qatar, Kazakhstan, and New Zealand, all looking for their first wins. So here is Team China. At lead is Xiao Derde. Second stone is Zhu Jinghao. Zhou Qia is playing at third, and the skip is Zhou Dijia. The alternate is Ma Yalong, and the coach is Marcel Roch.
And for Team Japan today, some familiar faces. At lead is Kosuke Morozumi. Second, Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi. At third, Tetsuro Shimizu, and as always, the team is skipped by Yosuke Morozumi. Alternate, Kosuke Hirata, and coach Hatomi Nagaoka.
So we've met the teams, and now we move inside the Erina Ice Arena, venue for this Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. Stone colors. China will be playing the red stones. Japan will be playing the yellow stones. We can see the marking on the scoreboard in the background. Japan has earned last rock advantage in the first end, so Team China will be getting us underway. Lots to play for here today. 3 top finishers will advance to the World Men's Curling Championship, and getting us underway is Xiao Derde.
6先楼可以啊，6，看一看，我感觉有点大。
Sander, what are you looking for this afternoon?
Well, we're going to see a very experienced Japanese team and a couple of new players from Team China. Very much like yesterday, China sporting 2 fairly unfamiliar teams in the Pacifics this year. So just be interesting to see how they get on. We know what we're getting from Team Japan.
We certainly do, and the lead, Kosuke Morozumi, gets it underway for Team Japan.
I wonder if we're going to get a little bit of the same as we saw Japan-China and the women's yesterday, where Japan's going to come out firing against maybe slightly cautious, unexperienced Chinese team. At least the corner guard comes up here from Japan, so that's an aggressive call. Whereas China's stone into the house is more of a defensive one. So we'll see if that's the story for the rest of the game.
3、4、2、3、2、4，旋龙很好，只是力量。3局，3、5、3、3局可以等一等。5、3、5、4、下线。4局，下线。4局。
Stone coming into the rings, into the blue 12-foot circle. Stones have to be at least touching part of the painted circles to be eligible to score a point. China lies 2.
Yeah, coming into the house there. If that first stone is in front of the tee line, you might see them throw a guard, but don't want to throw a guard on a stone back of tee, where Japan can come around and fly shot stone. So.
And Sander, as you were saying, one thing that we've come to expect from this Japanese team is they're certainly not afraid to gamble for the big end.
Yeah, sometimes you see Japanese team playing a little too aggressive, put a little too many stones in play, but I think they're maturing every year and you know when to pull back a little bit more than before.
Stones accumulating on the center line for Chinese second player, Zhu Jinghao.
向楼给。3、3区。
停带啊！
有点大啊。
我。
力量。2。
Changing up the call here. Wanting to put this top of the red forfeit circle, but sweeper's just calling it's a little heavy, so the skipper saying, all right, let's bring this on all the down onto the yellow. And they will. Actually, didn't quite have the line there, had to curl quite a bit more. Lands up in a useful spot for Team China.
Japan does have last rock. We'll meet Japanese second player, Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi.
So game plan for Japan here with the last on advantage is utilizing that corner guard. Basically trying to clear the front, the stones along the center line, and try and move the play in behind that guard. So this is a hit and roll to try and do that. But just over curling and a little unfortunate to catch her back heel. You might just see a guard thrown by China now as that stone is on the tee line. But no, still a little bit cautious and coming into the house again.
Might be thinking that that stone on the front of the ring sander is almost like a guard. Might be able to go half around that.
So I think you'll expect Japan to make a play on that yellow and run it back into the pile of red stones. And we know the Team Japan, they can really throw the high hard ones.
You're absolutely right, Sander. And I'm sure over the course of the match we'll see a few of those. Very entertaining.
So ends up with the guard here instead. Oh, that's a pretty good option, I think.
So decision time now for Morozumi. Do you clear the front, or do you just try to tap your own?
So again, one of these aggressive calls from Team Japan, looking to make just a split on their own yellow here. So essentially trying to open the front a wee bit, but also keeping a couple of yellows in the house. Trying to accumulate some stones and go for a multiple score. So just tickle the yellow stone top of the 12 here and try and roll the shooter in behind the corner. But this one won't curl enough and might go all the way through the house here.
Yeah, I think both teams are being a little bit fooled. They're expecting more curl than they're getting.
You know, I was a bit surprised about the ice there. Skip Morozumi putting the broom down almost all the way out to the edge of the 12-foot. Playing a back ring weight. I'm not surprised it didn't finish in the end.
It's a good chance now for China to apply pressure. And Sochia.
Now I think we will see the guard here looking pretty good for China. When you're playing at this level without last stone, you're very happy to perhaps steal 1 point. Looking to steal more than one is a little too ambitious, as this one just comes a little too deep and might set up an angle for a run back here for Team Japan.
And you could see the little wry smile from Zhou Chia. He knows he might have left them lined up.
I might see Japan play a double on the two reds here and might get some action on the yellow. Moving it back onto the reds, even just moving up even.
Tsuru Shimizu, Japanese third. Sander talked about the high hard one, and Tetsuro's often the go-to for the big weight, and as Sander foreshadowed, moves the front stone and gets a little bit of action on the shot rock. So that certainly opens up the scoring area for Team Japan.
I'm hoping to curl another 3 or 4 inches there and catch the red stone on the left first. Leaves a couple of guards, but does get the shot stone out, so yeah, opens up the scoring area. Still
a good opportunity, though, for Team China to perhaps tap their own stone into the 4-foot area. They've got some guards up the middle there, so if nothing else, setting up for a force and maybe a steal.
Does also have the chance to draw through the port of the elves on the outturn side, but maybe just favoring this side, knowing the ice a little better for weight and curl. Ice does tend to change quite a lot from the start of the game. Through the couple, well, 2-3 hours we play 10 ends of curling. Really nice tap up there.
Does push it into that red 4-foot circle, and China lies 2. Might have a corner hidden behind that Japanese guard, but from the Chinese perspective, they've cut off the avenues into the 4-foot. Bit of a hole there, though, for Shimizu.
Honestly, I think that's probably one of the tougher shots in curling is those tap-ins, raising a guard perfectly into the house. Just needs to be so accurate. And that's a well-played shot, but still leaves a chance for Japan to come through it.
So Tetsuro Shimizu trying to thread the needle here. Oh, nice brushing by the Japanese front end. Rolls in behind his own guard at the top of the screen, and great result there for the Japanese. Nice shot from Shimizu.
Yeah, beautiful team shot. Brings the weight down. That way they can control the line with the sweepers. Even more, they really held it for him. Oof, just shaves the guard and gets a nice roll in behind.
Never in doubt. That's what you say after it goes by the guard. So we can see from the brush position from Zhao Jia, looks like it's going to be some kind of a run back. Try to eliminate the front guard at least. Zhao Jia. Chinese skip.
Running this back onto the shots. They'll need to catch the shots on the right-hand side as we see it, or it might jam. Actually overcurls it altogether and leaves it on the top of the force still, but in the open. Played a very soft weight there, Chinese skip. I think you might have seen others throw that a little harder to take some of the ice reading out of it. Make sure they got contact, but so this is actually a very good example of how to close down the scoring area for the team with the last stone. If you keep stones along the center line in around the 4-foot, there's just less space to put in a second point. And with that red stone in the back of the 8-foot and their own stone dead on the center line, it's hard to find a good spot to put this one and not to leave a double takeout. So
looks like he's just going to try to wiggle it past his own shot rock towards that Chinese stone in the back of the 8-foot. He's going to need perfect line for that. Here is the Japanese skip, Yusuke Morozumi. Defending Pacific Asia curling champion. 6 times a bridesmaid, but last year they finally broke through.
Yeah, I was going to say, great to see them win last year. Definitely deserved. It'll be interesting to see if they can defend it this year. It's a bit of a cliche, but still true that you kind of need to learn how to win in most sports, and they've done that, so it should be easier now to win again, I think. The shot not curling enough for him and leaves a double takeout for China. If they can just hit this top yellow right on the beak, should remove both the reds and leave 2 red counters.
And if he does nose hit it, Sander, he's going to cut off the 4-foot as well and leave quite a difficult shot for Morozumi's last. So not an easy shot here for Team China, but definitely a makeable one.
And this is an example of how important just the one shot can be if he makes it. It'd be really tough for Japan to even score the single point. If you miss this one, only get 1 yellow. Japan has a pretty decent chance of scoring 2. And that's a huge swing. Just with this one shot here.
Is it going to curl enough? No, he blows it past and he almost jams the back. So as Sander was saying, that could have gone either way, and it went badly for Team China. A little bit full on the release, a little bit wide. Didn't curl enough, misses the double takeout. Get a look at it here on our replay. Goes past the target stone behind it, nearly jammed in the back of the 8-foot. So from what could have been a really tough shot here for Japan, now quite a bit easier. Still has to navigate the guards, but really just has to hit the paint and Japan will score 2.
Yeah, taking out their own stone at the back, just leaving a lot more room to score here. Might be, it is the first end, and the ice is a little fresh. The ice could be a little tracky at the start, but I think they should have a decent guess about the speed here. Just needing to nibble the rings, really, for a second point. And with a couple of really good sweepers, should be possible, but Yama and Kosuke on it early.
Well, now they're just throttling back a bit, so they seem pretty happy with it.
Nice shot.
Nice shot indeed. Stone coming to rest in the 4-foot area. And there it is in the first end. It's a pair for Japan. They score 2, and after one end of play, it's Japan 2, China no score.
それはあるかも。でも練習ここで投げてて、俺ここら辺まで。ああ、そうだ。
Welcome back to Erina, Australia. It's Saturday afternoon here in the land down under. And Japan getting a fantastic start. 2-point first end. So China will have last rock here on the second. Zhou Dejia is immediately going for the corner guard, so China signaling their intention to go on the offense.
Yeah, giving up 2 points in the first end. All you want to do is try and score that 2 points back. And throwing corner guard is the way to do that. Japan didn't end up using their corner guard in the first end to score their 2, but certainly the approach you like to take. Keeping the center open, keeping things a bit less complicated, trying to bring the play out to the wings, get some separation, and if it doesn't work out, you always have the forfeit to draw to for your single point.
Kosuke Morozumi. So Sander, have you been enjoying your Australian adventure so far? Curling in Australia, what do you think?
Well, it's been good. It's starting to get a bit cold back in Norway now, so really nice to come here to the central coast, bathe in some sun, and yeah, it's a nice arena right next to a huge shopping center, so it's pretty perfect.
I've mentioned it's Saturday down here. Attempted double takeout on its way for Team China, and you were telling me about your Saturday morning breakfast routine today on the weekend and your workout. So, want to give us a rundown of your meal today?
Well, as you know, Hans, I'll be joining Team Norway for the European Championships in a couple of weeks, so just trying to stay a little bit fit. You know, as us commentators, we tend to sit here just watching and doing nothing all week. So, yeah, just hit the gym, get a big breakfast, and then enjoy some curling. It's good living.
It is good living, absolutely right. So the stones are starting to accumulate. Yamaguchi now trying to run the corner guard. Almost picks off the other one as well.
Yeah, this is the way to kill the momentum for your opponent. Just take that corner guard off, and yes, China could make a play here on the red stone, remove the red, sit 2, but it would be too early in the end to do that, and Japan would have so many chances to make a double takeout and kill the end. So that's why China's going to throw another corner guard. You might even see that a couple of times until eventually China will probably try and make a move and sit 2. Just basically limiting Japan's chances at the double takeout. So it's a bit like chess on ice, some would say.
It is definitely all about thinking 2 or 3 shots ahead, no doubt.
This one's slipping into the rings, though, and you see the angle here. Definitely a chance for a double takeout for Japan.
Okay.
Trying to remove both Chinese stones with 1 shot. Double takeout attempt. Yamaguchi watching intently. He's got 1, and he's got 2. Stone squirts to the back of the 8-foot, but very nice execution there from Team Japan. They are pretty lethal with the upweight. Here we see the Japanese bench and longtime coach Hatomi Nagaoka looking on. She's been with this team really since they were in their junior days and has really been a steady guiding influence for them. And this is a big year for this team with the Olympics coming up in just a couple of months' time.
I was just talking to Tsuyoshi. Apparently he's married to Nagaoka's daughter. So he's cracking a joke saying, well, you better act nice or you'll be put on the bench.
A little error there from Team China, trying to remove the Japanese stone, but it glances, and Marcel Rock, the Chinese coach and curling legend in his own right, and would be disappointed in that one. But again, a big year for Marcel as well in the Chinese program. As far as Olympics go, both Chinese teams are participating in the Olympic qualifying event coming up next month in the Czech Republic, and a lot of the focus in Chinese curling is really going towards that event. And Marcel's been a big part of the development of curling in China.
Yeah, it's done a really good job. It's a team of Lu Rei played the Olympics in Sochi, placing 4th. That will be going to the Olympic qualifying event. Saying that they didn't want to send Bin Yuang and Lu Rei's team here just because it would be a little too much traveling, going all the way to Australia and then come back to the Czech Republic and Europe a couple of weeks after. So just taking a little time off, maybe even spending a little more time with their family before it really kicks off the season. So this young Chinese team gets a chance, and that's also good because, of course, they're keeping the Olympics in Beijing in 2022 in mind as well. So
absolutely. Sochia trying to clean house, kills 1, kills 2, pops the other one as well, but it jams and sticks around the back of the 8-foot. Not a bad result, though. Certainly looking better than it was a minute ago.
Yeah, it leaves the shooter right in front of the yellow. Makes it a little harder for Japan. They're going to have to navigate and catch this red stone at an angle, not to jam it. Here you can see taking quite a lot of ice, bringing the weight down here, bringing the sweepers into play. They'll have more control of the rock, and it's more likely that the shooter will stick around as well with the softer weight. Just waiting for this one to curl. Catches a piece, but too thin. Main objective complete though.
Japan line 1. China with the last rock here on the second.
So it didn't get anything going here, Team China, in the second end. So just looking for the hit, but whoa, huge miss.
Wow.
Not sure where that came from. You won't see that too often at this level, actually. You can see the skip gesturing, saying, oh, you just put that one a little bit too outside the brush. A little too positive with his release there.
Wow. It's the kind of thing that it's going to be interesting to see how Zhou recovers from that, because when you get a lot of input from the rest of your team, you know, you threw it bad. Trying to bounce back in the next end and not be thinking about that on your next shots, it can really be a struggle for some players. So it'll be interesting to see how Zhou recovers.
I'll actually have a look at Socha's delivery here. The out turn. Let's see if he just puts it a little bit outside there. A little inside out action. Just makes the stone float a little bit. Takes a while to come back, and this time just didn't. A chance for Japan to split the rings and perhaps get a force from China. You're always happy to force your opponent to score one. And when you don't have the last stone advantage, and then try and score two back again. Would be a perfect start for Team Japan. Sporting in some very fancy yellow jerseys this week.
You certainly know when Team Japan's on the ice. Nice draw weight there from Yusuke Morozumi, splitting the house. No double takeout there.
It's good for traffic security, if anything.
It is, yeah. You're nice to have the high-vis vests, and you know, just need some road cones, and it'll be good.
Well, I know Olympian John Morris was hit by a car during warm-up before a game at the Canadian Championship years ago.
I hate when that happens.
that will not be an issue this week for Team Japan, that's for sure.
Yeah. In Australia, they drive on the left-hand side of the road, so same as Japan. So at least they'll be looking in the correct direction for where the traffic's coming from.
Good point, Hans.
Yeah, I study this stuff. So after the miss from Zhou Dejia is going to try a freeze to try and generate a skip's deuce out of nothing.
Yeah, well, there's no double takeout with the two yellows being so flat. And if he just hits the one yellow, Japan's just going to hit it back. They're forced to 1 point, so you might as well go for it. This one pulling up way short.
Will it even make the rings? Just.
That's not going to be a worry for Japan. Yosuke Morozumi will just put another stone in there, lie 3, and pile on the pressure for Zhou Dejia.
Well, that's right. After coming up short on a draw, when you climb into the hack for your last one and you're looking at 3, even if you just have to find the 8-foot, all of a sudden those rings look a little bit smaller from the other end. Confirming the weight with his sweepers.
Yeah, really important for the sweepers to be in control and of the speed of the ice, and hand that information back onto the skip. As a skip, you're just standing in the other end, and you don't get to follow the stones up and down, so you have less of a chance to get the draw weight from sweeping. Got to rely on your team for some solid information and some solid sweeping as well, bringing this one in for a third counter, and takes away the draw path for Zhou Dejia as well. Can't play the same path now, but he will play the same path they would have done in practice, so should have a decent guess here, I think. China.
So it will be an attempted draw for one for coming up for Team China. And Team Japan, I mean, Yamaguchi and Morozumi are fantastic front-end sweeping, but they're really, really high effort every shot. And you do wonder over the course of a tournament, does that take a toll? I mean, they're enormously fit, but they really do go for it with the brushes. But now it's Team China on the brushes. This is the last stone of end number 2 for Zhou Dejia, drawing against 3. Needs full 8 foot.
Yeah, this could be the game right here. A complete miss and 3 points for Japan. Game's pretty much over. If you make it, could be a bit of a confidence booster. Keep you in the game.
Xiao and Zhu seem pretty happy with it. Stone coming to rest right on the tee line. So nice recovery there for Team China. As Sander mentioned, a possible game saver. Draws the button against 3, so it's a score of 1 for China. After 2 ends of play, it's Japan 2, China 1.
收点点。那你觉得我这个3秒还是？你还是正常力量，完了咱收点点，那都能下来。反正我看就是说，也可能。江哥，走时间了，快点的。
Xiao Dede gets us underway here in the 3rd. 10-end contest. As we mentioned, we've got 9 member associations here in the men's competition. They'll play a full round robin. Top 4 will advance to the playoff phase. Of those 4, the top 3 will qualify for the World Men's Curling Championship. And that will be in Las Vegas in the USA.
Yeah, not the worst spot to be playing curling. There's a couple of good places to go this season to watch curling. Australia, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's starting to be something.
Absolutely. It's a happening thing.
Hard. Hard.
There we see that high effort Japanese sweeping, bringing that stone right into the button. Japan lies 1.
The good part about having a couple of really good sweepers who gives everything for every shot is you can allow yourself to throw it a bit short and they'll bring it there for you. If your sweepers aren't as good or a bit lazy and don't want to sweep your rocks, you tend to maybe try and throw it all the way there. You come up 2 inches heavy, can't do anything. There's no way to stop a stone while sweeping. So you're always better off throwing it a bit short, let the sweepers do the job.
And perhaps an example there, Sander. They were probably looking for a freeze and 2 extra feet of weight, create some separation.
And with the right, we would have actually overcurled and caught the guard. I think that's a classic example of coming out a little heavy and then kind of throwing it a little tight to compensate. Tight and heavy works. wide and heavy rarely works.
Yeah. Tight and light never works.
Exactly. Again, Japan using their sweepers well here to just weld this one on. A couple of great shots from Kosuke, and some good sweeping by Yama and Tatsuro.
Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi, he always gives it heaps on the brush every time out. Always looking like about the midpoint of the game that you think he's going to keel over with exhaustion, but he just sucks it up and keeps going. He's a fantastic athlete.
And that's one of the biggest changes in the curling game in the past decade. It's just all these players just becoming so much more fitness aware, spending a lot of time in the gym and making sure they eat the right food and so on.
Nice shot there from Team China. So they're all stacking up in a line here in that 8-foot and 4-foot area. Japan with the hammer in the third, and so now Skip Morozumi says, right, let's give ourselves a shot here. Rip the front.
Might get a lot of granite moving here. Just hold the curls. Not a terrible end result, though.
That's a great shot from Yamaguchi. Kills the guard, moves the stones around, and leaves themselves lying second and third shot, but lots of separation. So good outcome there for Team Japan. There we see the granite flying. 1, 2, 3, 4 stones in motion. So now no guards for Team China.
Well, this is the restraint I was referring to earlier in the game. Instead of getting too caught up and with too many stones in play, Yosuke Morozumi just realizing that, okay, it's not looking too good here. Let's try and open things up, bail out, make sure we score. I think that's what's going to bring them just a tad closer to medaling at the big championships, winning the Pacifics last year, qualifying for the Olympics. I think they'll be one of the outsiders for a medal in Gangneung.
Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi trying to remove at least one of the Chinese stones. Rolls over towards the other one and gives it a nudge. And Japan lies 2. And that's great insight, Sander. I agree. In this Morozumi team there, being more measured, which kind of fights against your natural instincts to be aggressive, but as you point out, knowing when to bail, when the smart move is, they still have all the shots to be aggressive and make a big shot when they need it. But making good shot choices can make a huge difference. There's a jam. Removes one of the Japanese stone, but leaves the other one sitting in the back 12.
I do think some of the best teams in the world, though, are teams that start off at a young age playing very aggressively, with too aggressively for many, many years, and then they start pulling back a little bit and balancing out their game. And with having played so aggressive for so many years, they have all those shots in their back pocket. I'd say maybe Nicholas Sedin is a great example of a guy that's been, played a lot of aggressive curling as a young player, a lot of high, hard hits, but just finding some restraint and improving the touch play. And now he's one of the best curlers in the world, so that could be the story for Japan as well.
It could be. Yeah, you can only go full psycho for so long, really. It's nice to have psycho in the pocket to pull it out when you need it, but being full-on aggressive all game, every game can take a toll. Give your opponent a chance to get in the game.
偏小一点。哦，不带。哦。Go.
Looking for the double there, but gets the Japanese stone in motion, but it's still hanging around in the back 8 foot. It's a chance here for the Japanese just to position the stones around the scoring area.
Two options here. I think the double is on, but have to be very precise with that. I think they're just looking to play the hit and roll to the right of our screen and get some separation, just ignoring the red stone on the wing.
Both teams have been fooled a little bit about the curl, anticipating maybe a bit more. We heard Morozumi calling for bumper weight. It's just a quiet control type weight. This one's starting to move though. Sweepers are trying to hold the line. Don't want to jam on their own at the back. Oh, very nice job by Team Japan with the brushes.
Nice shot.
And they lie too.
Yeah, pretty much perfect.
Nice shot.
You could say there is a double for China, but if they play it, their shooter will roll out, only leaving the one stone in the house. So probably just play a hit and roll instead.
Yamaguchi and Morozumi holding the line. Kosuke Morozumi alertly sweeping the stone out to create some separation, make the double more difficult for Team China. So now Chinese skip Zhou Dijia. Also playing quiet weight, so he's looking to save his shooter. Shaozu on the brushes, right on the nose. Pushes it through the rings. China, well, hard to say who's shot rock, but Japan's not going to leave that one hanging around anyway, so unlikely to need a measure.
You'll see one change from Morozumi. He'll skip with a synthetic brush, but when he comes to throw, he'll switch it out with his old and trusted 8-ender wooden hairbrush as a sliding device.
Does have to be careful with that though, because it's definitely not a legal sweeping device anymore, so fine to throw with it, but you can't sweep with it. Looking for a nose hit. Good execution there from Team Japan. They lie too.
China down to the last stone here, so they'll just have to try and play the double. Definitely a makeable one. Might be hard to stick around to lie 2 here though, depending on how much weight they want to throw.
Angle's a bit easier now though than it was for the first one, isn't it?
I just canted a hair high here.
Zhou Dijia trying to limit the damage here. He'd love to kill both Japanese stones if he can. There's one. Oh, it's a jam. Just slightly misread the angle and leaves the Japanese stone in the back of the 12 foot. So good attempt there trying the double, but bad result there for Team China, and now Japan will have a draw for 2. So close. It's a game of millimeters, isn't it? See the yellow stone belonging to Japan. They're already lying 1 shot. So if Morozumi can draw another one, just full in the 12 foot, blue circle, or better, Japan would once again score 2 points with the hammer.
easy day at the office so far for Yosuke Morozumi. In the first end, destroying the open house for 2. Once again here in the third. His team's making it easy for him. And this time maybe Yosuke making it easy on his sweepers.
Yeah.
Perhaps a little too easy.
Yeah, this one's got a bit of heat. He's going to need some backing, but he's going to blow right by it. And that is a bad mistake there from Morozumi. Throws it through the rings on an open draw, so a big let-off there for Team China. Morozumi disappointed. An opportunity lost. It's a score of 1 for Japan on the third end, and they go out to a 3-1 lead.
我觉得上把就是大力打，打掉先一打俩为主，就那个垃圾效果挺好，但是没出去。行，那下把就是咱就统一一下吧，就是主要是。
Kosuke Morozumi gets us underway here on the third. 83% so far for the Japanese lead. You're enjoying live coverage of the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017 here in Erina, Australia. Hans Fraum up here with Sander Rolvag, and Sander, you mentioned that Morozumi had a pretty easy day at the office, but on that last draw, the office kind of closed early, didn't it? That was not a great shot.
Yeah, unswept all the way through the house. Only needed about top 12 for the second point there. So essentially 10 feet heavy, plus you have the sweepers. They could easily drag it 6 feet, so yeah, at least 15 feet heavy there on the draw. Huge mistake by the Japanese skipper.
So let's see if China can capitalize. Zhao Derde, Chinese lead, is at 92% through 3 ends, so certainly getting things set up for the Chinese. This one is tracking a bit wide, just squeaks by the guard. Again, sliding deep in the house. Will it even stay? No, this one as well. So, from one Morozumi brother to the other, draws through the rings. That's surprising. Good chance now, though, for Team China to turn the momentum around. As Sander was saying, it's been pretty much one-way traffic for the Japanese, but after that miss, if Zhao Derde can get one around this corner guard, then Chinese could set up their pair and get themselves back level.
Quite a bit of room here. Just trying to sweep with the curl, so to speak, along the green. Still thinking that it's possible to carve the ice a wee bit, creating structures in the ice that the stones follow, which I just think still works to a certain degree. Of course, recently we had some fabrics that did this way too much. It was more like a joystick out there sweeping the rocks, and we've cleared up that issue, and now everyone uses those yellow pads you can see on the brushes. Everyone has the same fabric, and it works the way it should. can carry the rock. Or, somewhere between 6 and 10 feet, maybe.
Yep.
And can make it curl a bit less. Might make it curl a tad more, but not too much.
Nice shot there from Yamaguchi, picking up his teammate. Japan's line 1.
14秒はいってると思う。うわうわうわ！小龙 OK， 力量。顶等线啊！这个顶等线。
Xu Jinghao, 71% so far. Trying to follow that one down.
小龙 OK OK。Go go 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 go！ Come on！ Whoa whoa， 掉大掉过了。
Slightly over curling. Good weight.
这样稍微小点。
So quite a cluster now behind that corner guard.
The good part for China is all the plays in behind the corner, leaving the forfeit, the center of the house open. So they can always bail out by drawing for the 1 point. So China's, in that respect, gotten what they wanted, but Japan can put a corner freeze here. It'll be hard to score much more than the one using the corner guard, but still quite a few rocks to go.
Waiting for this one to curl. Weight's good. And Japan lies 2. Maybe a fraction heavier than they would have liked, but that's really nitpicking. I think the Japanese are pretty happy with that result.
They're just starting overthrowing a couple of rocks here, Japan. They've been really good at throwing the right weight for the first 3 ends, using the sweepers. Of course, the ice tends to keen up a little bit, becomes a little quicker when you start playing on it, sweeping it, heating the surface. You always have to adjust just a little bit.
Stone Shao on the brush is trying to get it by that guard, but no, they just tickle it going by. And will it even stay in the rings? No, this one has got a bit of rotation on it, and it is swept through the rings by Morozumi. So the Chinese brushers trying to hold the line, try to stop it from curling, but just feathering the guard. And Zhu knows it. A little tight. So a chance for Japan to attack now. They're pretty well sorted on the right-hand side of our picture with 2 stones. So after some debate, Tetsuro Shimizu prepares to throw. He's at 83%. I think this one's to the tee line as well. Oh, now it comes to rest. Just in front of the tee line. Nice weight control there. And Japan's line 3. China does have last rock here in the 4th. Sandra, what options do you think Team China is considering here?
Well, it was either coming around here, playing just a little bit of a tap on the shot stone, but they are going to run this back and try and open the center. Just make sure they can score 1 here.
They don't want to let the game get away from themselves.
Just changing up the turn.
We saw on the previous end that Xochia is at 63%. So I'm missing open hits. So that'll be on his mind.
Well, if you make this clear the front, there's a chance to get something going here. A little unlucky with that one.
That was very unlucky.
And leaves a center guard as well. You might see Japan just come around that once more.
Zhou saying, I threw it pretty good, but boy, it's a pretty ugly result. Japan's line 3. So a chance for Shimizu to really just dial in the same shot that he just threw.
If they make the same shot here, though, China will have a chance to run the guard back in. And this time, the guard belongs to China. You might want to bring this one all the way down to the tee line here. A bit short. That's not too bad either, I think.
You're right, because now if the Chinese do run that red one straight back, they wouldn't be shot. So still a lot of scoring area here for Team China, but the Japanese rocks have accumulated, and they're looking at 4, and now Xochia is going to come down for a chat. So Sanders, is this one of these moments in the game where you're deciding how much you really want to gamble? Looks to me like they're going to be playing a corner freeze on the shot rock after the discussion.
Yeah, still, I mean, don't mind this, this call. The forefoot will still be open. We'll still have a chance, reasonable chance to score the run by playing this. Probably see the corner freeze here. Japan's going to try and blast it out, and then China probably try and cover around everything on the center line. Their next one, trying to set up the skip stews.
This one's got some curling to do. A little bit heavy and a little bit full. A little bit of contact, and leaves his own shot quite wide open now for the Japanese to remove. You can see a clear path for the Japanese. So now it's a question about where do you want to leave the shot after you remove the Chinese stone. So the time clock's in the background. Each team has 38 minutes of thinking time. And that's the planning that they have between shots. We can see the time clock running now for Team Japan. And when you run out of time, it's a bad thing. But so each team, no time jeopardy for either of them. Each team has one 60-second timeout as well where they can stop the clock. The clock is not on the mind of Yusuke Morozumi. He's just zeroed in on the Chinese shot. Going to try to remove it.
I think just going to play the up weight here and try and catch it a hair high. Just roll slightly to the wing. Might even be a double here.
75% for the game so far. Bang.
There we go. Double takeout, live 5.
Nice. I read Kenny's mind. Nice shot indeed.
And now I think you will see, as I mentioned, that China will come around everything on the center line.
Perfect angle. Gets the action off his own shot. Pops the Chinese stone out sideways. Super result. So these are the moments as a skip sander where Zhou Dejia will just have to draw a deep breath. He knows he's looking at 5 right now, but he has to kind of put that out of his mind and just treat that center guard as an opportunity to score 2.
Well, there's two things about this. If he makes a good one, just still score 2. The other thing is it's a nice way of dialing in your draw weight for your next one. I'm a little surprised they're playing the in-turn at this. I would have a better guess at the out-turn, I think, but this would be the better result.
This one is coming down quite a wide track. Has a lot of curling to do to get behind the guard. The weight looks pretty good, but how's the line? Rushers take it all the way up to the T-line. Big effort there from the Chinese front end. Great weight. Not sure that they're buried, though. And we can see Xiao and Zhu drawing breath after a big effort. They went coast to coast on that one. Zhou Dejia finds the T-line, and we can see that China is lying 1.
Yeah, not a bad effort. But, yeah, I could probably see at least 2/3 of this.
I was going to say 7/8, maybe all of it.
Yeah. And I don't think Yosuke Morozumi will be too concerned about hanging about here. He's already got 5 yellows in the house, so no need to flirt with the front stones here. Just make sure this red stone goes away. Always the very calm demeanor in the hack.
I think the sweepers were a little bit concerned about it being down weight, but no problem there.
We will actually hang about as well. 6 counters for Japan. Same draw for Zhou Dejia.
Well, we saw him successfully draw against 3 in the second end to score a single point. This time he's drawing against 6. And Sanders said in the second end it was maybe a decisive game shot. If he missed that, it would be very difficult for Team China, and boy, oh boy. You can double that in this situation. He's looking to get 6.
That's played skipped on one occasion, the Winter University Games back in 2007. But long-time alternate for Lu Rei's team.
Have they overcooked this one? Needs full 8 foot. Shimizu trying to drag it back, but it does come to rest full in the 8 foot. So sigh of relief for Team China. They used all of the available house that they could, but it's a score of 1 for China, drawing against 6. A game saver for Zhou Dejia after 4 ends of play. It's Japan 3 and China 2.
肯定的，因为第一把你俩已经全力从头擦到尾，肯定这条线路已经搂出来了。 小龙给这个手。
Xiao gets us underway here in the fourth. And yeah, it's been a funny old game. Every time you've looked at the ice, the Japanese seem to have had chances for 2 and 3 and 4. And China's drawing against 3 and drawing against 6. And you'd think it'd be one-way traffic on the scoreboard, but after all of that, China's hanging in there. It's a 3-2 game, and really clutch draw there from Zhou there to really save the game for Team China.
Yeah, the highlight so far really Zhou making the draws in 2 and 4, and also Yosuke Morozumi missing his open draw for 2 in the third end. And that's really why the game's so tight at this point. But a 1-point lead with the hammer for Japan. They'll be fairly content with that. And if they can pick up a score of 2 here coming into the halftime, they'll be well happy.
Nice come around draw there from Kosuke Morozumi going around the center guard. So Japan trying to set up their score of 2 or more. Now Xiao trying to follow it down. Pretty stylish there, I'd say. That's one of the quality hairdos, I think, of the field so far this week, Sander, you'd have to say.
Yeah, better than
Hugh Milliken.
Yep. I was going to say the Australian boys altogether. But,
Okay.
Corner freeze. Nice weight there from Zhao. Kosuke Morozumi.
No.
あるならちょっと待ちたい。
お
レッチャンキン。
おライン結構外結構外。
上がってないわ。
Trying to play follow the leader. This one's got to curl now. Wide line and a fraction heavy. And that little bump.
Sorry.
It's often a situation like you see in mixed doubles curling when you're trying to freeze on top of stones in the forefoot area. If you're 6 inches heavy with your weight and it bumps and it rolls away, it turns what could be a great shot into actually quite an average shot.
yeah, came up with the second shot in the fourth end as well. The younger Morozumi brother just needing to adjust a wee bit. Use the sweepers again like they were so good at doing the first 3 ends.
Xu Jinghao trying the in turn. Sweepers working it hard. They have to go for a line. They're going to be awfully close to this guard, and they're on it. So this is interesting, Sander. Japan with the hammer. I've seen earlier in the game where he was opting to run guards, but this time he's liking the looks of his 2 stones just on the fringe of the forefoot, and he's electing to go around this pile.
Yeah, could have played the peels on guards here, but I think they're definitely going to try and set it up a little bit more, and then perhaps this shot and China's next one doesn't pan out in their favor. They might break it open on Yama's second stone. It's usually the golden timing for bailing out in the end, the second player, second stone. So don't mind trying to set something up with the first 3 rocks.
See the angles now where the red stone belonging to China, as they would say in Australia, it is girt by Japanese stones,
which means
surrounded. It's one of the great lines in any national anthem on earth. Advance Australia Fair has the line, "Our land is girt by sea." And the Chinese stone is girt by Japanese stones.
Yeah, we're able to hear the Australian anthem on the bagpipes during the opening ceremony.
It was a great blend of the traditions of curling combined with the venue and the host nation here in Australia. We did hear Advance Australia Fair on the bagpipes. If we would have had a second verse on the didgeridoo, that would have been great. Crashed the guard once. Are they by? They sneak by this time. Love to get on the slight inside of that Japanese stone. Bump it onto the button. Well, this is shaping up to be really interesting.
Yeah, and as expected, you see Japan now trying to break it open here.
Japan's got last rock. Maybe a chance for some action, Sander, do you think? If he sort of pinballs those two center guards, maybe he'll squirt forward with the shot rock?
It looks like he's only peeling the one guard. And will he catch the underside of the other one? Yeah, he does. Pretty perfect, I'd say.
And it hangs around. Great result there for Yamaguchi.
Yeah, moves guard all to the side. Essentially a corner guard now, and another counter in the house.
Smiles all around from Team Japan. Creates a bit of breathing space for them. It was looking a bit cluttered. So Zodechia is going to try to add to the traffic jam. Nice placement there from Team China. That red stone of the Chinese in the front of the forefoot with the angle onto the shot rock still represents danger for Japan. There's a fantastic look at it. The yellow onto red, directly onto the shot rock. So there's a bit of a bailout there for Team China later in the end. Here's Shimizu.
The Shinkansen, as we like to call him.
Yes, indeed. All aboard. And that train departed on time, kills the guard.
Yeah, quite happy just to peel the guard. Japan is lying shot stone here, so they feel that China is going to have to make a move at some point. So just kind of waiting them out here. So, all right, we'll peel the guard. Go ahead, you'll make the move, and then we'll act on it. China throws another guard here. We'll see if Japan will just peel it once more. Bit of a waiting game here in the fifth end.
We talked earlier about the strategy of curling and thinking 3 or 4 shots ahead. So both teams playing a bit of cat and mouse now. Who's going to move first? Maybe a little deeper than they would have liked, but offering some protection. Yellowstones belong to Japan. And they've got the hammer. Last rock here in the fifth. Off is usually a bad sign, but the rocks are moving. And the net result is Japan still lying 1. China, second shot in the forefoot, and another Japanese stone full in the 8th. So the benefit here for Team Japan is you unlocked that little short angle raise. So that's gone as a bailout for Team China. You also pushed the Chinese shot rock behind the tee line, so good result there for the Japanese. Opportunity here for the Chinese to throw a double takeout if they chose to remove Japanese stones, but it appears to me that Sodejia is just keeping the weight quiet. Maybe trying to get to the shot rock.
Yep, through the hole. Try and sit to here. Big sweep to get it past the Yellowstone top of 12.
Oh, they just get it by.
That's a great shot. Great sweeping.
Well, Zoe says, thank you very much to Xu and Xiao. Fantastic brushing to get it by that guard. I think I saw a spark. There we can see how much that must have curled to go by the guard. He's half buried behind that yellow Japanese stone in the front of the 12-foot. Yusuke Morozumi says, okay, if you can go through the hole, so can I.
Yeah, it looks to me that he's going to play much more weight, though. Thinking that there's a double.
Well, I heard him say Q, which is 9, so it might just be back line weight, back 12. We'll see.
Could also be 9 seconds.
Could be 9 seconds as well.
That's second takeout.
That's a very good point, Sander. The ice is suggesting the weight will be up a bit.
It is a snug hole to come through.
Sure is.
This is a great look at it right here. Starting to move.
How good is that? Fantastic shot from Yusuke Morozumi.
Nice job. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's a good call. It's a good shot. And, you see the stone coming through the hole. It appears to have much more room than it looks like before the shot. There's a couple of inches on both sides. It's just a fact of knowing that before throwing. It shows to some of their experience, and of course, great throw as well.
Yep. You want Yusuke parking your car at the shopping mall there, really, in those tight spaces, right? You just made that look really easy. That certainly wasn't.
Well, it's easy when you have two guys directing you as well.
That's true.
A couple of sweepers.
Never tried to sweep my car into the car park. You never know. Might catch on.
So the angle for the double, very thin. So just looking for the hit and roll instead here. Roll behind the other yellow, perhaps even roll deep and behind everything.
So Sodejia looking for the roll. He's got the contact. And that is a pretty good result. Has he left Morozumi? Probably hasn't rolled far enough for Morozumi to play the same shot through the hole. There's a fantastic look at it. He might be able to get to the nose and hang around and score 2 that way. It's tempting.
I think it might be easier to make a play on your own yellow here. If you ever come through the hole and split your own yellow, you're giving up 2 Chinese stones. So if you're coming through the hole, at least make sure to play the down weight. But going to play a fairly
All right.
firm weight here.
We're back in the shopping mall. Morozumi's going to try and park another one right through the hole.
I don't know. It seems a little risky to me. If this one under curls, you catch a piece of your own stone top of the 8, you split it out. It's a steal of 2 for China.
Yeah.
If you play on your own yellow, the worst thing you do is over curl, but your shooter sticks around for second shot. So this is a ballsy move.
Well, fasten your seatbelts, folks. Here it comes. Last stone for Yusuke Morozumi, trying to thread the needle again. Sweepers are pounding it. Are they by the top one? They're just by it. Will they stick around? That is a fantastic shot from Yusuke Morozumi, and it's 2 for Japan.
Incredible curling again. Just threading the needle 2 times in a row.
Watch how close they come to this top guard. The sweeper's holding the line just by perfectly through the hole, just sticking around in the 8 for the second point. And Morozumi, little fist pump there. You can understand why. That was a great shot. 2 great shots in this end from Morozumi. So after 5 ends of play, Japan bounces out to a 5-2 lead. Highlights of the game so far in the first end. Open house here for Japan's Yusuke Morozumi. Just needs to draw somewhere in the 12-foot, but puts it right in the 4-foot. Japan off to a terrific start. 2 points in the first for Japan, leading 2-0. In the fourth, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Japanese stones. So it's the last rock here for Sodejia. It's a bit of a game saver. He used every bit of real estate that he could, all the way to the back 8-foot. Hangs around, and China's still in the game. It's Japan 3 and China 2. In end number 5, look at that narrow port for Japan's Yusuke Morozumi. Bravely threading the needle perfectly. Hangs around in the 8-foot. It's another pair for the Japanese, and after 5, they lead it 5-2. Having a look at the shooting percentages, team statistics at the halfway point of this 10-end match. Statistically, percentage-wise, the Japanese have a little bit of an edge in shooting accuracy, 81% to the Chinese 76. But really, the most important statistic is the top one, the score. Japan being very efficient with last rock. They've had chances for 2-point ends every time they've had last rock. Converted 2 of the 3, and they're leading at 5-2. So getting us underway here on the 6th is Japanese lead, Kosuke Morozumi.
大丈夫かい 14.5 ラインはいいよ
Mentioned this is a big year for the Morozumi team. They are the Japanese representatives for the upcoming Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, Korea. And they've been trying to get there for quite a long time. The last Japanese men's team that competed at Olympic level was Makoto Saruga's team back in 1998 when Japan was the host nation. These games were in Nagano and the curling event was in Karizawa. So the Japanese women have had a lot of profile over the years. The sport is very popular in Japan. And the Japanese men have always just been a little bit in the shadow of the Japanese women curlers, and I know that Yusuke and his teammates are absolutely delighted to be Olympians, pending Olympians.
Yeah, I think a lot of neutral fans as well. Delighted to see them at the Olympics. They're fan favorites for sure. As we see China putting their corner guard into the house. We saw this yesterday, coming back onto the ice in the 6th end. Sometimes players just coming up a little heavy. Because in the halftime break, the ice makers will mop the ice, just take away some of the debris, but also put a little pebble, these drops of water, around the hacks. And speaking from personal experience, just tend to come out the hack a little bit quicker. So you might just need to pull on the brakes a little bit when you come back in the 6th end.
Yeah, have to throw the anchor out there sometimes. Xiao today trying to make that adjustment here on the 2nd rock.
That's definitely an experience kind of thing. You see Kosuke putting his stone top of the button. While putting a corner guard into the house is a crucial mistake, actually. Trailing by 3 here. Just kind of kills the end and makes it so much easier for Japan to tidy things up.
4 stones have been played, so the free guard zone portion of the end is over. So Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi, who's at 80% accuracy for the game so far, is free to eliminate the corner guard. Doesn't mind losing his own as well. Pushes it out of the house.
Nice shot. Thank you.
And just like that, much tidier for Team Japan.
Well, there's a few ends to go, but you don't want to waste too many opportunities if you're Team China.
Xu Jinghao struggling a bit, 58% for the game.
Japan makes all their peels in this end. You probably see China having to blanket and retain the last one advantage, try again in the 7th end. And for Japan, they're very happy to see blank ends up on the board. As long as they have a 3-point lead, they don't really have to see a score.
So this Morozumi foursome are a very good front-running team. They can throw the big weight with accuracy, so they're quite happy to try and peel an opponent out if they've got a 3 or more point lead.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Nice shot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And we're reaching the part of the game where you're starting to play the scoreboard as well as your opponent. 10 ends scheduled. If the game is tied, there will be an extra end. No ties in curling.
Bit of a speed wobble there.
希望站得边儿一点啊，下下线。
Seem to recover nicely.
往下来点。2， 二二二二再来二 take go hard
Another corner
Okay.
there for the Chinese. Look at Xu Jinghao. Now Tetsuro Shimizu once again will just try to rip that guard. Just tickles it. Slams his own. Not content with getting the corner guard, he decided to clear the entire house.
いいじゃない
That's fine.
Yeah, he'll be a bit disappointed in that. In spite of everything being out of play.
Only problem with removing your own stone is if China throws a corner and Japan misses it, China then wouldn't have to deal with that stone in the forfeit, just could come straight around the corner and set up first square 2. But as long as Japan makes the peels from here out, it should be fine.
So Chia, 75% at the third position for Team China.
下线啊
And this is a test of, again, we've talked about patience in this sport. And Team China, you're trailing by 3. You're against an opponent who seems like they'll never miss a peel if you give them a chance. And you just have to keep throwing them out there and keep scrapping and do what you can to try and generate multiple points. Shimizu at 88% having a really good game today.
It's always a bit demoralizing playing ends like this. You know, you spend so much time and effort putting up the corner guards, and then 5 seconds later it's gone. You have to do it all again, all over again. And at some point, I think China's just going to draw into the house. And looks like that time is now. Just conceding the end.
Some good execution here from Team Japan. Sander mentioned the error at the lead position, the Chinese guard coming into the rings, and that's really set the tone for this entire 6th end. Zhou Xia, he has to draw into the rings.
クリーン hard hard OK
So if you're Yosuke Morozumi, there we see the Xiao's looking on. This is a situation that feels pretty good when you're going down the other end to throw your shot. You've got a 3-point lead. You're playing the 6th end. And when you survey what's in front of you, no guards, 1 rock in play. It's about an ideal situation for Team Japan.
Still important to keep your focus, though. Don't want to make any simple mistakes.
Yeah, Yusuke Morozumi's had a very good game. He's at 85%. We did see that miss on the draw on the 3rd end when he had a chance to score 2, but he threw it through the rings. But other than that, he has made some sensational shots. We saw him thread the needle twice in the 5th end. So Yusuke finding form here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championship 2017. Defending champion. They would love to go back-to-back.
その 0.23 で安定してるねやっぱり最近
8 other teams here, though. It'll have something to say about that before the week is over. Here's Zhou Dejia.
3秒小的啊
78% accuracy. He's had to make some game-saving draws for Team China. And there is a clean miss. My goodness, we saw Zhou Xia miss an open hit earlier in the game, and now Zhou Dejia also misses an open hit. Very uncharacteristic. Quiet wait, and I think the curl just fooled him there. Sander obviously started that one a little bit, but he missed that by quite a lot.
Yeah. It's more or less the same spot where Zhou Xia missed his, but he undercurled and freshed it on the outside.
テイクさせるのはテイクさせるの面白いと思った俺も
A little bit wider, but So maybe a little bit of fresh pebble. Throw it a bit soft.
13.8ってどこかい
Just a little bit of everything.
14でいいわ。ごめんごめん、14でいいわ。
14か14.1で大丈夫。14。
A couple of options here for Miyasuke Morozumi. He could just split the rings. Alternatively, throw a guard on his own. So either's a good result. He's going to split the rings and make China look at 2.
Yeah, but not drawing too wide here either. No need to bring it all the way out in the 12th foot and leave too much room for the draw for So Do-ja. Just want to put this, maybe just nibbling the edge of the 4-foot. And that way, So Do-ja is going to have to make a choice. Do I feel like there's enough space to play the draw? Or should I play the open hit? And I think that's exactly what I've done here.
Comes to rest just past the tee line, back of the 4-foot. So we saw the broom pat on the ice there from So Do-ja. So it will be the draw attempt.
Yeah, but you can see where that stone stopped out. There's a lot less space to draw to now for So Do-ja, but he was confident, put the broom down quick. That's what you want to see from a skip.
Yeah, he probably had a pretty good idea 2 or 3 shots ago that it's either going to be a hit for a blank or a draw like this to save the end. So this is the last stone on its way, and number 6 for So Do-ja once again, drawing against multiple Japanese counters.
It's also a testament to the ice conditions, though. If you're skip confident drawing like this, you know the ice is just fairly good. Only at this level, you only see the hit if the ice conditions are tricky, and you'll see this draw coming down into the 4-foot. Nice draw.
Absolutely perfect, right on the tee line in the 4-foot. So once again, So Do-ja makes a clutch draw against multiple points, keeping China in this one. China scores 1, but they're trailing it. Japan leads after 6 ends of play, 5-3.
半脱分打就得是双站位，双站位吧。
That's a happy Japanese team out there enjoying the game. 2-point lead coming into the 7th end here. China on the back foot. We'll be putting up some guards, trying to force the issue a little bit, and perhaps get a steal or 2. Try and turn this game around.
14秒。
That's a long center guard from Chaderdi. And this is a very defensive approach from Japan. Don't want to come around the center guard and put too many stones in around the 4-foot, just drawing to the wing. That's going to keep the center line a bit more open, but could be a bit of a scare for China. Leaving it there could be a potential 2nd point for Japan. I mentioned how curling is similar to chess in some aspects, and that's definitely true in the openings. In chess, you have many ways of opening a game. Curling, maybe not so many, but definitely some familiar ways of starting ends and two center guards is one. One long, one short. Create as much separation as possible, so the double takeout becomes as difficult as possible. This is a pretty good effort by the Chinese lead. Pretty much online, and good 6-7 feet separation. And this time Japan will come around and try and take
That's very good.
a bit of control of the forfeit area. Do not want to come too deep here.
No.
Just top of the forfeit, it's good.
Oh, sorry.
And it does stop there. Good draw by Kosuke Morozumi. Came up heavy on his second stones a couple of times in the previous ends, but spot on here. China has a task, of course, clutter up the center line. Get the stones into the forfeit. Just trying to make the scoring area as small as possible for Japan and perhaps trying to get into scoring position. This is a freeze. Really needs to be all the way down there, but I think they've left it for a bit too long. Only enters the top of the 12, as now Japan is allowed to start peeling the guards. Free guard zone is over. And Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi won't go for any heroics here, I think. Just peeling the one guard. Easy does it.
Yamaguchi makes it look so easy clearing guards. Can be pretty tough. Your target area when you're clearing guards, you're really just trying to hit a quarter to a half of the rock, so your target zone is actually pretty small.
Yeah, when you start breaking it down, it's throwing a granite stone close to 20 kilos, about 30 meters or so, and you're supposed to hit it.
about a centimeter and a half of your target area there for your tolerance.
It sounds impossible.
These athletes make it look easy.
And, you know, in golf, you get 3 or 4 strokes.
That's true. Stone sliding just past the tee line into the back of the forefoot.
Of course, golf and curling has some similarities.
It is cool.
Both invented by the Scots.
It's true.
Scottish farmers playing golf in the summer, curling in the winter. That's still the case for quite a few curlers, actually. Both farmers and golfers.
That's absolutely right. Yamaguchi now trying to, again, blast that center guard, and off it goes. Yeah, there are a lot of synergies between golf and curling. There are many, many curlers who are also excellent golfers.
I haven't played much golf myself, but I did find that the way you have to think about your technique is quite similar. And, yeah, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I thought I did decent.
On the mini putt?
Yeah. The swing wasn't too bad.
Yeah? Okay.
A
lot of good golf in Norway, is there?
It's all right.
For about 6 weeks of the year?
Exactly.
I can think of at least 2 well-known Canadian curlers, Mike Harris and Russ Howard, both Olympic medalists who are also golf professionals. So there is something in the golf curling connection, no doubt.
Yeah, I did not pursue golf. Just figured one frustrating sport is enough.
Nice shot.
And yet, So there you go, folks. If you've got suggestions for another frustrating sport for Sander Rolvag to try, just let us know.
Professional knitting or something.
Yeah, it could be.
Take the edge off.
Is there any other sports that the Scots have invented that you want to have a go at? Caber toss, maybe? Or
Log throwing.
log throwing, yeah. It is, yeah. Speaking of frustration, things are pretty frustrating for Team China. They're trailing 5-3, trying to make something happen here on the 7th. We've got a little something going here. It's all strung along the center line, but the Japanese do have shot rock just there in the front of the button.
Yeah, still the patience game here, you know. A little bit of cat and mouse. At some point, China's going to make another move here to sit shots. Probably have to make a play on the Yellowstone there in the button. As Shimizu will just peel the guard again. And you wonder if China might have to make a move here with the penultimate stone coming up for Team China.
There's probably half of it available on the in-turn side for Sodejia. So if he chose, could probably play back button, back forefoot weight, and move the Japanese stone back a foot or two. That's exactly what Zhao Jia is indicating with his brush. Let's see, maybe not a quarter, maybe a little bit less. At this point in the game, China does have to go extreme in the gambling department, but they do have to take some risks. Much like Sander caber tossing. Are they by?
No.
Just clip it.
It's not the first time we've seen Rock's overcurl in this spot. Seems to swing a bit coming this way, and then turn going away from the coach's bench. And just not taking enough ice here, I think.
Really did need to get that one by the top guard in the top 12 foot, and disappointment for Zhou. Chance now for the Japanese to get some of the Chinese stones out of the rings. From the brush position of Shimizu, it looks to me like Rozumi's going to try an in-turn double takeout, try to remove those two Chinese stones behind the tee line.
Yeah, if you were looking to score 2, you might prefer another approach. Maybe just play a freeze or something, but it's more about being all cautious here and make sure you can score your 1 and make sure there's not too many red counters. Make sure you don't give up a big steal.
We talked about the maturation of this Morozumi foursome. Maybe this is just another example of a safe shot choice and a smart shot choice.
Very nice.
And he gets a lot of action on the shooter as well.
That's pretty good.
Nice shot.
Spins to the edge of the forefoot, and yeah, no, great options that come to mind for China here.
Stone's going sideways at the end.
So looking at a hit and roll.
Any other options he could be thinking about here, Sander?
Well,
not too many good ones.
No. Like I said, just not fun looking for China.
Yeah, it's you're going to leave Japan something here.
You know, sometimes you look at the house and you're like a kid in the candy store, and you're like, this is looking good. Just put it here, you know, and wear a shoe in. But right here, it's just more about having to make a perfect shot and still not maybe getting anything from it. Looking for the hit and roll in behind the other yellow.
Again, tight to that top guard. Oh, just by it, but removes the Japanese stone, but spills out of the rings himself. So great chance here for Japan to pretty much cash the game away. If they can get rid of that Chinese stone and stick around, they can score 3. Zhou really did need to stick his shooter. It just overcurled.
Could just draw for the 2 points here, Japan, but I think for the way they're playing, shouldn't be too much of an issue. Just catching this a bit on the high side and score 3.
Yeah. Even if he jams the red stone in the back, they're still going to score 3.
Taking a bit less ice. Just, of course, tolerance here is to catch it a little too high and roll the shooter out of play for 2. Not over curl and jam it for steal. Maybe just closing up the ice and playing a bit more speed at it. See if he'll stick around for 3.
Oh, they like it. There's one. Will it stick around? It does jam. Just caught it a little bit thin and rolls out of the rings. So it is a 2 for Japan. Opportunity lost there for a 3, but they won't be too disappointed. Gives them firm control of this game after 7 ends. Once again, Japan cashing in with the hammer, and they lead it by a score of 7-3. Welcome back to the Erina Ice Arena in Erina, Australia. Hans Frauenlaub here with Sander Olvag at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. Glad you're with us. Our feature match this afternoon on a grayish Saturday here in Erina is Japan versus China. And Japan 3 out of 4 with last rock in terms of multiple point ends, and giving them a 7-3 lead as we're playing now in end number 8 of this 10-end contest. Saturday. He has to throw a corner guard. Some a little bit heavy with a corner guard in the 6th, but this one is quite a bit longer. So, Sander, picking up on the theme of frustrating sports, you know, we've got curling. We've talked about golf as another Scottish invention, and caber tossing, which you really haven't pursued yet. But I did notice we talked about this arena being next to a large shopping complex. I did see a restaurant next door that's offering the Schnitzel Challenge, which I'm not sure if the Scots invented that. It seemed a bit more Austrian to me than Scottish, but would that be a challenge that you'd look to take on over the course of this week?
Competitive eating?
Competitive eating?
I don't think so. I made one of my teammates eat 5 carbonaras once. I had to cough up some money for him to do it, but it was very entertaining to watch. But it looked pretty awful to do, so I will not take on any big challenges. No.
Good call. Pretty much even at lead position in terms of shooting percentages, and I'm sure money wasn't the only thing being coughed up there. And China setting a second corner guard. They've got the hammer here on the 8th. For those competitive eating fans out there, the Schnitzel Challenge does involve eating a kilogram of schnitzel, which is quite a lot, actually.
I think a liter of beer and fries.
Yeah, that's tough.
And you get a free dessert if you do it.
But only if you don't. Never mind. We won't give you the rest of the details about the Schnitzel challenge. It's just too horrifying to contemplate. Here comes Yamaguchi looking to rip a corner guard. Hits it pretty thick and he's sticking around, so you'd have to call that one a bit of an error there from the Japanese. A rare mistake on trying to clear a guard.
Yeah, and that makes this end a lot more interesting all of a sudden. Those two yellows and the forfeit not perfectly lined up. China can make a bit of a pocket out of those rocks. Plus they have two staggered guards. So definitely something to play around with here for the Chinese.
Glimmer of hope for China. See the comparison of the seconds, and Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi having a clear statistical advantage over Zhu Jingtao.
不用下，小。不能再擦了，那就非常低。到双方了，到双方。哦，别擦了，越擦越偏吗 ？OK。
Another corner guard set there for Team China.
Considering double here. Make both the red guards go away. I think Yamaguchi wants a chance to redeem himself.
Yeah, after not quite clearing the corner guard on his first one, he says, "Yeah, please give me a chance to tidy up."
Uh-oh.
Well, once again, catching it pretty thick and hanging around, so things building up pretty good here for Team China. Once again, Yamaguchi hitches that one a little thick. Sticks around, gives the Chinese a guard to work with. Yusuke saying, okay, we're still up 4. But for China in this end, Sandra, you'd be thinking that they really must score 2 or more.
Yeah, and great chance to do that now. Just gotta make the draws.
看他线路还有点小。5亮。5。正常。正常。正常。2。5。正常。1。2。
Just sneaking it by the guards. Uh-oh. Is it in the rings? No, it's come up short.
Huge mistake. That was a great chance to capitalize.
Zhu looking to the skies.
15秒15.
Zhou thinking, come on, guys. Got to get that one to the rings. Now Shimizu throwing a bullet.
Shinkansen Express always delivers.
He loves throwing that shot, and you can see why.
Nice.
320 kilometers. The Shinkansen, 200 miles an hour.
Well, Shimizu throws it nearly that hard, and you can see he's got a 11-point shooting percentage advantage against his counterpart at the 3rd position, Zhao Qiao. So Shimizu having a very good game. Shooting accuracy terms, if you're 85 plus, you are having a pretty good curling game. Zhao Qiao.
They will make that play in the forfeit. Just try and tap things up just a little bit, create a pocket and sit on top. This one a little too hot. They were looking to either freeze in the pocket there or just nudge the top yellow. Actually catches the back one, spills off, sits in the open. And again, just not capitalizing on their opportunities here, China.
That really has been the story of the game, hasn't it, Sander? Japan's really made the most of their opportunities with last rock, and China really just struggling to do the same when they've got the advantage of last round.
こっち
これの裏がね使えなくなるからね。
てかもうあれかなり弱いよね。そしたらね。
弱い。
パンパ。
10.5くらいかい。
10.5。
10.5。10.5。14秒。
Just locking in the weight that they want to throw.
And also trying to figure out where they want the shooter to end up here, because you don't want to put too many stones in play that your opponents can use, but at the same time, two corner guards in play, you want to keep something in there for China to have to move. Ends up.
Nice control weight there from Shimizu. Does it hang around? Zhou is trying to sweep it out of the rings, but it swings back. It just grabs a corner of the back 12 foot. Japan's line 2.
Not great result. Perhaps better than setting up a big pocket in the forfeit, but not only the one yellow for China to worry about. So they're just going to ignore that now and come around the corner.
Maybe a little bit of, I wouldn't quite say panic sweeping from the Japanese, but they certainly jumped that one early. Needed to curl a little bit more, so a chance here for Xiao Xia to start to try and build a little bit of pressure for the Chinese. Looking to hide behind the guard. Got to get by it first. No, once again, the Chinese crash a guard. How many times in this game have we seen that, Sander?
Too many, I think, and it's certainly something they're going to have to discuss after the game. Why that's happening? Is it, you know, the players throwing them too soft? Is it not taking enough ice? Of course, just have a look here. It looks good enough to me. Just
maybe just not enough ice, but regardless, I can think of at least 4 occasions where China has crashed come around attempts. We haven't seen that happen very often from the Japanese team.
And now Japan will mix it up. So you have a center guard, you got a stone in behind it. Why not come around and put the pressure on China here? They're only risking giving up 2, as there's only 2 Chinese stones to come. And no red stones in the house, so why not?
Absolutely. You've got a chance to maybe put the game away here if you can come around that center guard and just sit maybe in the front forefoot right in front of your own shot. Weight's looking pretty good too. Now it's a question about the line. They want to get a little bit of coverage behind that center guard. Yes, well, he does get a... Would have liked that to curl maybe a quarter rock more, I think. But Japan does have 3 shots. Problem for the Chinese now is if they make a play on the shot that Morozumi just threw, there's a risk of a jam. Does look like they're going to make a play at it, though, Sander.
Yeah, just try and wiggle these stones around a little bit. At least open up the button to at least score the 1 point.
Scoring is absolutely essential to survival, but the Chinese are really looking to try and generate a pair here. Sweepers are on it right out of hand. Once again, they're flirting with the guard. They're by it this time.
That's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, got a pretty good result there.
I'm not sure if they're shot stone though. That's a really good attempt.
Yeah. Then we see the shooting percentages for the skip position of the 4th stone, and Yusuke Morozumi with a 20-point advantage over Zodejia.
ピッチャーがバンパー1回投げたね。
Yusuke's had a very solid game other than that one slip up there and the attempted draw there in the 3rd end. But other than that,
いや10.5だね。
it's been a pretty solid outing for Morozumi. But yeah, nice shot there from Zodejia.
ピッチャーがコーナーに投げた時だよね。
Yeah, it's close to perfect. Just needed to curl a tad more with a bit more weight, and he makes the double and rolling behind the guard.
この
But
時曲がんなくて内側でピールになってちょっ
looks like Japan's coming after the red.
You can see from the shooter's end that he can see at least 3/4 of the target rock.
That might mean that China is lying shot stone here. If not, Japan could have just drawn around the center once more.
Just quiet right here.
いや11点11点。
Yeah, there's a jam in the back here, so you want to keep the shooter in play.
Japan flirting with the guard. Oh, and they do crash it.
結構薄い。
結構ダウンだ。
So, commentators cursed. We talked about the Chinese crashing come-around attempts, and this time it's Japan.
まあ2なら
You'd have to call that quite a big error in the game situation. Yes, 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 says Shimizu, but just feathers the guard, and
結構ダウンだ。
now it's a chance for China, the chance they've been waiting for. Finally to score a pair.
まあ2なら
You can see the reaction from Yusuke. Can I get it by? No, not quite. So it's a fairly open draw for Zodejia. Needs a piece of the 8-foot on the last stone here of the 8th to score that elusive pair.
And he's been real solid with the draws all the way through the game. It's what kept China in the game so far. And I think the Supers are looking pretty happy with this one. Just bringing this one into the top of the 4-foot for a score of 2 hands.
So once again, Zhou converts on the draw, this time for a score of 2. So China back in the game, a bit of an unforced error there from Yusuke Morozumi. But Japan is still leading this one after 8 ends of play. It's Japan 7 and China 5.
还有10分39秒。
Welcome back to Erina, Australia. Host venue for the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. It's our feature match. China versus Japan. And it's been one-way traffic for the Japanese, but small mistake there, and we see the full complement of Chinese sweepers dragging that one just in play over the hog line for center guard. But a crucial deuce there for China, giving them a faint glimmer here, Sander. They look to be out of this game, but uncharacteristic mistake from Yusuke Morozumi on his final shot, and bango, China scores 2.
Yeah, confidence boost for China, and then, you know, some worried thoughts might start to creep into Japanese players' heads, and a couple more half misses, they might start to tense up a little bit. This could be a close game after all. But Kosuke Morozumi, decent weight control here. See just a slightly more worried demeanor from Japan than we've seen throughout the game.
Yeah, you can read the body language a little bit, and you're right that they were cruising, and that missing the 8th unnerved them a little bit. Here is Xiao. Looking to stack the guards. Really don't want this one in the rings. They'd like it to be short of the rings, but this one is sliding. Will it come to rest? Yes, it does. So that stone is still in the free guard zone area. That means that Kosuke Morozumi can't remove it from play.
Yeah, just going to draw around here again. Still important to keep this one top of the house. Just nibble the forfeit, perhaps. Starting to bend up.
And they clipped the front. Well, that was just a little lackadaisical, I think. They just kind of nonchalanted that one, I think, of it, Sander.
Yeah, I wonder if they thought it was a little heavier and didn't want to sweep it beyond the tee line. Just left a little bit too long. Didn't seem to be too bad for weight, actually.
Yeah, a little sloppiness creeping into the Japanese game here in the late going.
And that first draw from Kosuke is just, if anything, a little too short. Almost, it's almost like a guard for China with the excellent ice conditions here, and the swing can easily come around it, use it as a guard. So again, something to work with for China. Don't mind bringing this back and forth, just trying to get it buried. Nice draw.
Yeah, nice shot there from Su Jinghao. Very nice shot. He's struggled a bit in shooting percentages, but in the late going, that's a very nice stone. Two ends to play, and now Yamaguchi free guard zone portion of the end is over, so guard clearing can begin. Saw him half nose a couple of clears in the last end, but that one's perfect.
Well, not too worried.
No,
there we go. That's fun. That's the way we're used to seeing them.
I was going to say, that's the relaxed Morozumi team that we're used to seeing. Xu Jinghao. Corner freezes his own.
You could see just seeing Kosuke Morozumi in the lead with the stopwatch, timing all the draws here for China, knowing that his big brother, the skip, might have to play a draw on his last one. So just trying to keep a track of the weight. Now as Japan's only playing the hits and the upweight shots, it's nice to just try and keep a track of how quick the ice is and just have that information ready for the skip.
Yamaguchi kills two, leaves his own sitting on the center line. So still something to work with here for Team China. Saturday afternoon men's draw here in the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. Got other games going on here in the arena. On sheet A, it's New Zealand with a healthy 15-3 lead over Qatar in the 8th end. Korea 8-5 over Hong Kong. And Kazakhstan versus Taipei. Taipei is holding an 8-5 lead. Returning to our feature match. It's a battle of the unbeatens. Japan came into this match 3-0. China 2-0. Somebody is going to leave the sheet undefeated. Somebody is going to leave the sheet with their first loss. Who's it going to be? Target for Tetsuro Shimizu. Launches another one. Gets a bit of a jam. Leaves the Chinese stone sitting in the 12-foot. And leaves the guard. But moves one away.
Actually makes the draw and around everything slightly harder for China.
This looks similar to the path we saw earlier in the game when Yusuke Morozumi was threading the needle. Much wider gap here for Zhao Qihua to try and draw one in. But still a delicate shot.
Just throwing another guard here, and then I think Japan peels it. We'll see China come into the house with their next one.
It is indeed a guard.
Again, just delaying the move, so Japan has less opportunities of tidying things up. Don't want to make the move too early. But now a chance for Japan to perhaps move more than the one guard. There's a bit of an angle. And when there's an angle, you can hit less of the stone, the shooter rolls away. And you might get a lot of granite moving here with the Shinkansen Express.
Shimizu with a chance to remove the center guard and maybe send some other rocks in motion as well. Gets one, gets two, moves it around. Blows it by the shot rock, but accomplishes the main task, which is really opening up that 4-foot. Nice shot.
Pretty perfect. Gets that yellow into second shot position as well. Definitely less pressure on the skip now.
What a fantastic weapon to have somebody like Tetsuro Shimizu able to just totally rearrange the end like that with one shot.
That is a third task, though, is to tidy things up for your skip. And also, of course, set up your skip for multiple points, which he's been good at doing in this game.
So now, Zhao, no guards to work with, but still some stones in the rings, and he does have shot rock in the back of the 4-foot. The red stones belong to China.
Calling this a little heavy here, the sweepers. Don't want to be in the rings, but they will.
Comes to rest just full in the 12-foot, covering the shot rock, a little deeper than they would have liked. It's not terrible. And now it's a bit of decision time.
赤のダブルあ、縦横縦こっちではないあ、そのダブルねそしたらここ縦はどうだいそれだったのここそこもあるよねでもそうするともう一個積まれるもう一個積るだけだじゃあここから行ってみてこのダブルもある結局同じショットやられるか時間は大丈夫
Might be timeout time.
We saw Kosukis take a quick peek at the clock. The Japanese have got lots of playing time left, so they've got time to think about this.
14秒ってとこだと思う
Yeah.
They've looked at the double, but the problem of playing the double is
14秒
they wouldn't be second shot afterwards.
俺のドローどうだった
So they're electing to draw up to the Chinese stone.
Yeah, he played the double. You know, China's going to come in and lie too.
3だね
I don't think that's necessarily all too bad, though. Feeling confident about this draw. Sometimes teams will elect not to use their timeout just because they don't want to kill the flow of the game. You know, having a long pause before throwing sometimes takes the rhythm out of the game. And actually, our statistician sometimes will keep a track of the percentages for shots after timeouts, and they're not always great. Pretty good here. Can afford to bump it up a little bit too. Keeps the line very nice, but will leave China a chance to come down after it and weld the freeze on it.
Nice shot there, though, from Yusuke Morozumi. A little panic there as it got near the guards. It started to make a move, but they safely navigated it by there. You see how close it came to that front stone in the 12-foot, but good result.
Just a touch steep. I was a little surprised they didn't play the double. You know, he's been so solid with the upweight shots all game.
Well, perhaps he's just doing mental calculation and thinking, okay, you know, we don't really want to drop a 1, but by drawing 1 in there, even if he makes this one great, and if I don't make it, we've got the hammer playing 10, 1 up. But you're right, Sander. Typically, the team is very confident throwing double takeouts and big weight shots.
Yeah, this is a bit of a must-make here for China.
Xiao and Zhu on the brushes. It's all up to them as far as the weight. Really pounding it. They want to get it all the way up into the button area. Have they left it short? Yes, they have. It's just short. Sweeping error there from Team China. That's a big mistake. That one needed to be another 4 inches, and that is perfect, but they just leave it short.
Yeah, just a bit of lack of experience showing there. You know, as a sweeper, you listen to your vice skip. You hear your vice skip saying, oh, we need to curl, but, you know, with a shot like that, the most important thing is to get there to be shot stone.
Just half sweeping it as it hits the hog line.
Yeah, you just want it to be so perfect, so you try and wait as long as you can, but sometimes you just wait a little too long, and it's gone. As we see Japan now, I don't think they're gonna. Well, I think they might try and draw in for a second point here on the end turn.
It's interesting. There's a little bit of risk here because, gosh, if you squeak that guard coming around, and if you ever nudge the Chinese stone forward onto the button, you'd absolutely kick yourself.
Yeah, definitely a chance of doing that. Pretty tough draw.
He'll need to put it right on the tee line. Now they're changing their mind. They're thinking, wait a minute, let's not do that. That's a bit risky. So they're still going to try the draw, but they're going to try and draw it into the 4-foot through the hole, and then, oh, nope, just saying, nope, stuff that. 1's enough. They're just going to throw it through.
Yeah, not taking any risks here. Just throw it through and take your 1. You'll be 3 points up on China with 1 end to go, and they're going to feel good about it.
Absolutely. So after briefly considering a play for a deuce, it's a 1 for Japan. Quite happy to have it. After 9 ends of play, 1 end to go. Japan is leading it 8-5. Welcome back to Erina, Australia, for the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. 10th end and maybe the final end of play here in our feature match this afternoon. It's China taking on Japan, battle of the unbeatens. Hans Ramab here with Sander Rolvag. And now it's a matter for the Chinese to really throw everything they can short of the rings. All the pressure is on Zhao at the lead position to try and set something up. They need 3. And the front guards are absolutely critical to have any kind of chance, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the lead's time to shine.
Clean.
He's done well. He's been putting up the center guards the last couple of ends now. Throwing the corners. That's a nice one. There's a bit more room for error throwing the corners, but you always want to try and keep them as flat as possible so there's no double.
Japan, on the other hand, with a 3-point lead. They don't need any rocks, and they don't want any rocks in play, so Yusuke Morozumi asking his brother Kosuke to throw the stone through the rings. That's a deliberate tactic. Just trying to run China out of stones.
Yeah, by keeping stones in play, it's something China can use, freeze onto, tap around, create a nest, so on. So if you throw your stones through, there's nothing for China to work with. And Japan can just make all their 1 stone peels there at the end. They will win. But if we get 1 miss from Japan, a 3 is definitely in play. And we did see Yamaguchi miss a couple of peels in the 8th end. And China did score 2.
So here is the moment for the second stone of the team in the lead to really bring home the mail for their team. In this case, it is Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi being asked to clear guards now.
Overcurled in the very same spot here 2 ends ago. This time we'll catch it.
No mistake this time.
Close to tickling the second red as well, but just a single peel.
So the countdown is on for Team Japan. Trying to eliminate Chinese stones and run them out of rocks. Here is Xu Jinghao.
2区，带一带减速，平行，力量差不多，刷子稍微小一点，刷子，掉线了。我停这儿已经下了。
Trying to get rock positions to make a double clear difficult, but
现在吧场地比较黏，你正常往前送，现在都掉线，还得稍微来一点。
Overcurls a little bit, leaves an angle, but now Japan thinking, well, we'll rather just peel the best guard, which is this one, next to Morozumi's broom.
Yamaguchi on the intern this time. Perfect.
That was always a great feeling, making your 2 peels in the 10th end.
Yep, for Yamaguchi said, my job's done. I can just sweep the rest of them now.
And China still looking for a miss from Japan.
Zhu again, got a bit of feedback on the last stone for maybe just rolling it over a little bit. This one's running right up the middle. Now it's moving off.
OK。
在这儿。
得比点顶是这么大。
但你看这个马上掉没了。
Shimizu now being asked to throw a clear. Textbook. Perfect execution so far on this end from Team Japan. So 4 stones yet to come for Team China. And they need 3 of them in the rings to tie this match up and send us to an extra end. Zhao Qiao. Going to try and get one around that wide corner guard.
5、6，下了
放锋线
6、7、
7、8。哇，后区。 后区，
想想他现在后区啊，
志林，
This one's got a bit of heat.
下线，
志林不行啊，
Going deep in the house. Will it stay in the rings? Yes, it does, just.
受的有点大。
Sigh of relief there from Xiao Xia, but that's okay. If it's got a piece of the rings, there's still a chance for it to score. And now Shimizu is going to try to run that corner guard. And that's 4 for 4 in the clear department for Team Japan. Absolutely perfect. So now for Team China, you've got nowhere to hide. No guards. 1 stone in play in the back 12-foot.
我都是打不着。
三，
OK，
看下来，进线，
力量，
四，四五，
进营，这球必须进营。
二，五区，
够了，够了，够，提线都够，
提线，
提线不够了，
体现不够，
这回够，
进营
这回够。
了，
一点点。OK，
说减就减。
Just comes into the 12-foot. China lies 2. But no surprises for guessing what the shot choice is going to be here for Yosuke Morozumi. He'll be looking to remove that Chinese stone. He won't really care about staying in the rings. He'll be happy to just blast it and roll out. And then leave himself an open hit for the win on his final shot. There we see 89% on his hits in this game and 81% on draws. So pretty solid performance from Yosuke.
Ring. Go.
Bang.
出しちゃった方がいいよ。
Nice.
Out of play the stone goes. So for Team China, you've got no choice. You've got to throw this one in the rings. And then your only hope is an open miss.
Yeah, we've seen 2 open misses from China today, but I don't think any clear misses by in Japan.
Yeah, we've seen them crash guards a couple of times, but you're right, we haven't seen any flashes.
And with the way Morozumi is throwing the hits, it'd be, you would have to think something unforeseen will have to happen.
Yeah.
Hard. 底线，底线，hard。
But as the wise philosopher Yogi Berra always said, it ain't over till it's over. But if this one doesn't reach the rings, it's going to be over.
Well, just an hour outside of Sydney, it would be appropriate to say it's not over until the fat lady sings.
This one is off the rings, and can it be split? No, the Chinese are saying that's enough. We concede, and it is victory for Japan. So disappointment there for China. They needed that one in the rings to give themselves a mathematical chance, but Sander Rollback, a really, really impressive performance from this Morozumi foursome.
Yeah, very steady play. They've made pretty much all their shots. A couple of hiccups here and there, but all around great performance by Japan, and I think they're looking good for defending their title this week.
Conversely, disappointment for Zhao and his teammates. They had their chances, but Morozumi goes to 4-0. A great victory for Japan. They roll on in this tournament, running China out of rocks, and they take this one out by a final score of 8-5.
これしねえなって思ってたんだけど。目立つでしょ。あ？
All
one this morning. Oh, did you do the women this morning? You are not in the meeting.
Sorry?
You are not in the meeting.
I feel not well this morning, so I forgot to let my colleague tell my colleague to go to the team. And then I told just ask me how do you know? I barely sleep last night. I'm not there, so this morning here and what happened? Hello! How are you? Good. I started seeing you at the meeting.
Highlights from men's sessions 4 in the men's tournament at the Pacific Asia Championships, and number 5, China versus Japan. Last stone on its way for Japan's Yosuke Morozumi, threading the needle. Fantastic shot, hangs around, and Japan scores 2 to move out to a 5-2 lead. In the 7th end, chance for Japan. If Morozumi can punch it through the hole to maybe score 3. Catches it a little bit thin, jams on a stone in the back, and rolls out into the rings himself. So it's only 2, but at this point Japan holding a 7-3 advantage. In the 8th end, Chinese skip Zhao Dijia finally getting a chance to score multiple points with the last rock. Draws it right into the front of the button. China hanging on, trailing at this point by 7-5. And in the 10th end, Japan up 3. Zhao Dijia needs to have this one in the rings to have any kind of a chance to force Morozumi to throw his last rock, but this stone comes up just short of the rings, and the Chinese team concedes defeat. Japan, they roll on. They've got 4-0, unbeaten in the tournament. They win this one by 8-5. Now let's have a word with the winning skip, Yosuke Morozumi.
Okay. So a good game by Japan today. What things were you good at, and what things can you do better?
そう、今日の試合すごくいい試合でしたが、何が良かった点で何をもっと良くしていったらこれからいいでしょうか。
課題がアイスリーディングだったので、そこをしっかりとチーム全員でできたのが試合を有利に進められた原因だと思います。まだまだ読めてない部分もあったので、そういうところをしっかりと直して今後ももう少しいい試合がしたいなと思います。
So to reading ice is we needed to know the ice well, then we could really good, but we still need to know the ice more and more.
You won the Pacific Championship last year. Do you think it makes it easier to win it again?
そう、去年は、パシフィックアジア選手権優勝しましたが、今年もしっかりと優勝できますでしょうか。
強い相手がまだまだいるので、気を抜かずに一試合一試合大事に戦いたいと思います。
We know we have a lot of tough games. We just need to do is keep it trying better and better.
And it's an Olympic season. Do you have any special preparations this year, or is it the same as always?
オリンピックシーズンのすごく大事な年ですが、オリンピックに向けて特別な準備などしていますでしょうか。
はい、今年はキャンプの期間を長くしてカナダでボンスピンにたくさん出るようにしました。
So we went to Canada for 7 weeks already, and we are coming here. We have 2 more in Canada again. That's its thing.
All right, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.
So an impressive win for Japan's Yosuke Morizumi, rolling on to a 4-0 record. We hope you've enjoyed the action here live at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017 here in Erina, Australia. For my colleague Sander Rolvag and our whole production team, I'm Hans Fralab. Thank you. We'll see you again this evening.